possible. And welcome, folks. It's time for some quarterfinal action here in the North American version of FACEIT Collegiate. I'm Boggs, joined by Pineapple Phillips, and today we have Northeastern University Gold taking on Rochester Institute of Technology Orange. And Nate, I don't know about you, I am ready.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this quarterfinal matchup. Last week, Laz and I got to watch the likes of RIT White win their match in a best-of-3 style, 2-1, and I'm very excited to see what the A team, quote-unquote, has to do or has to show us here in this best-of-3.
I know you were talking to one of the RIT White players earlier today, and he said he wanted something along the lines of an all-RIT final. Have anything else about that? Maybe a little bit of reason why they'd want something besides, well, just school pride and the chance to face off Team A versus Team B? Is there a little more, something deeper to that whole little idea?
Well, yes. When I was talking to them, they said that it's going to be a rebuilding season next season. 7 of the 10 members of these two teams, RIT White and RIT Orange, will be graduating. So that would be a proper send-off, I would say, and a rather dominant way to do it, with both of your A and B teams making it to the finals. Would be quite the message to send as a going-away party.
Yeah, both teams. In terms of overall firepower, they need a gamble of this sort.
Yep, Dust 2 is a map. It's one of the OG maps with some slight changes, of course. It's a map that, you do have to put a lot of planning into in the grand scheme of things. It's the only map that I think of that can be considered somewhat T-sided, at least to a limited extent. It's a very interesting one, and I'm very excited to see what NEU Gold have planned for it.
Then moving forward, though, RIT Orange going for one of their pocket picks. They love Nuke, they love Overpass, and they go straight for the Opper's Paradise. They're going to Overpass, and it's a strong map for them, too. And it's not really played all too much by NEU Gold, so it really does come to a very strong pick for one team. And
Yep, Overpass is it's a map that most teams know how to play, though, so I don't think anybody's going to have a very distinct advantage on that map, and neither for the third map either. The final map remaining in the pool of 3 is Inferno. Again, another map that almost every team should know how to play. If you don't, it's kind of a worrisome, but either way, we are ready to get into the action here on Dust 2 Box.
long scrim out here from NEU Gold, starting on the T side of their map pick, as you might expect, and Gromit sitting up towards barrels, taps away for one, makes it a second. Good flashbang coming in from K22G, who gets a second, and now a third flash assist. It's Gromit with the 4K, all headshots tapping away, and one more chimed in there from Zav, and it's a mop-up clean and precise from RIT Orange, a dominant start to kick off Dust 2.
You stole the word right from me. I was going to say dominant. A statement to start things off with their best foot forward. RIT Orange 4 going the way of Gromit, as you mentioned before. Indomitable there on the site. NEU Gold not even getting a bomb plant. That means they're on the savior. Just one deagle invested for Quok.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see teams go for a more forced, aggressive buy in these sorts of situations, but no bomb plant. Teams are a lot more likely to go for the saves, the half buys like this. And Lucy's going to get overrun here, man. He'll get one with the scout tag and then the P2K bag, but Gromit and Farrell are going to mop this up with the MP9s in hand. Gromit really sticking it to him with 2 more kills, up to 6 total. K22G finally gets on the scoreboard as well. And overall, no real casualties to write home about aside from the scout. I don't think RIT Orange are too pressed about that. It's actually recovered by Gromit to get tossed over. And never mind, Gromit's going to hold on to the scout. Lucy's going to go in for the FAMAS, and they'll have the M4, but they're up against full AKs now and a decent amount of utility. It's not going to be an easy round for them to counter.
It's not going to be at all. I was a bit worried seeing the MP9s come through, but luckily for them, there were no really long-range weapons to contest. Either way, I think the MP9s are going to have their work cut out for them here on this round against the AKs at range. And well, to start things off, we do have some duels in the tunnels, a bit more of a defaulty slow round coming in from NEU Gold. However, RIT Orange are trying to cut down the distances. They're trying to play aggressive on the catwalk, and well, it will net a lot of damage and eventually a trade, but the opening kill at the very least goes the way of NEU Gold.
And there hasn't been too much damage dealt back onto NEU Gold either by RIT, and that's what they need to really let the SMG shine. They've lost one. They still have Farrell playing a mid-range angle up on Cat. Gromit still holding on to the scout, was able to get that kill. But NEU, they're taking their time. They don't want to rush anywhere. Northeastern just biding their time, sniffing out all the possibilities of RIT Orange, who are playing very turtled up, 2 to a sight. And now there's a bit of an inkling that's going to be towards mid. The smoke is out. Farrell flashes through. Has to be careful not to get caught out. Lucy's here as well. Expected, but able to get that first. Zav has another now coming through. It's all starting to go a little bit upside down for NU Gold. It's up on the boost. Farrell destroyed, but Lucy and Zav locking it down. It's going to be the B-side anchors and a bonus round victory in strong fashion converted by RIT.
And NEU are back on the pistols. And it is about as bad of a start as you can ask for if you are the Huskies. It's your map pick. It is one of the maps that you could say, hey, this one's kind of T-sided here in the current meta. And things are going bottoms up right now.
A killer crossfire. It wasn't even just 2 players. It was 1 in CT atop the smoke and 2 peeking in from either direction on the B site. 1 the doors and 1 the windows. That won't stop Qualk in this round, though. Cheeky deagle shot towards long, giving us a little bit of a taste of what he can really offer in terms of individual skill. Very nice 1D coming in towards the M4 player. NEU Gold do have the advantage in mound count, but still, they have a lot to be desired in terms of rifles. In fact, the lack thereof. Lucy, though, towards middle, takes down 2 of the pistols and yanks the advantage right back into the CT's favor.
It's a strong double there from Lucy on the FAMAS. Doesn't get overwhelmed this time. Doesn't have the sniper rifle to deal with. Scout, though, in the hands of Chevy. It's something that's going to be more and more difficult to use as the round goes on and as the numbers start to fall around this RIT side or NEU side. RIT don't need to push this either. The T's have to come to them. There's no reason to throw away their guns. They have 2 AKs, an M4, and an opportunity, a rare opportunity, to build up a very strong CT bank early on. Farrell does not get baited out by the jiggles of Chevy. And now Riaoi. Deagle in hand, has the scout as an option, but is blinded by another good flashbang coming out from RIT Orange. And Yogi think, well, this time, boo-boo, there's nothing he can really do. Headshot delivered, and a 4-0 start for RIT Orange.
Best start they could ask for on their opponent's pick. Very good all around from them. Another rifle by, though, another chance for NEU Gold, and they're bringing out the first op of the game. It's in the hands of Yogi. He's lacking some utility, but again, the big green is a very potent weapon on a map with long sight lines such as Dust 2. RIT Orange still have that FAMAS on Lucy, but you've mentioned it, a comfortable bank has been built at this point. Gromit's at almost 10k in the bank already, only the start of the start of the 5th round now already. That's a disgusting start for him.
Yeah, Gromit had the 4K on the pistol round, just been steadily chipping away at the NEU players and stat padding right there. And over on NEU, they've had a bit of a struggle getting kills of their own. K22G, though, goes down for nothing, and Lucy follows up. Riaoi and Chevy opening up the middle of the map. And now they can split towards whichever side they want. B will be the target, though. Much more logical, but Zav still managed 1. Riaoi, though, takes a dink, but unable to fall. Farrell's coming on the flank, though, unable to finish off Ace. That's a big miss right there, an opportunity gone. But Gromit's still here towards middle, dodges flashbang, sprays away. 3v2 retake towards the B side. It's not as difficult as it used to be. The doors have been flipped. But NEU Gold still have a very well defensible position. Yogi with the op makes it even more difficult for RIT to come back into this round. Utility to hold the map bay. RIT do have a Molotov, a couple of them actually. Flashbang and a smoke. Smoke goes out towards tunnels. Molotov in towards car. Nobody there though. 1 tunnels, 1 mid site, and then 1 back site. And the op strikes first. It's blinded. Farrell 1, but only 1. Riaoi will salvage the round, and NEU Gold will strike here. And while 3 players might have a lot of money for RIT, a couple of them don't have so much. Farrell and K22G in that position. Guns will be dropped though. That does mean... Actually, never mind. They do get the op out. I was wondering whether or not they'd get the op in hand and still have all the utility they want. There is an M4A4, though. That's something you see every day, and we'll see how Lucy wants to play around that. Maybe something up close and personal towards tunnels, but it's a long scrim from NEU Gold, and there's nobody there from Rochester. It's going to be full long control for the T side.
RIT Orange, though, they wisely gave this one up. They're going towards Catwalk instead. They have that control in lieu of the long presence. All 5 members of NEU Gold going out to get control. Some of them will now fall back and look to elsewhere. Suspicious of that play towards top middle. But RIT Orange aren't overextending. They're playing things slow. They're playing their default here with emphasis towards Catwalk instead. And now NEU Gold, they'll hazard a chance towards Catwalk and try to unseat K22G sitting with utility ready.
Raman's got the big green, though. but it's not going to strike for one. He takes 2 shots. He's unable to connect. And that's opportunities gone wasted. RIT could have used the man advantage here. But now NEU Gold can really work around. The time, though, starting to get a little bit lower. The Molotov will buy even more. Grommet's still here, up on top of the boxes, and Chevy now finally falls. Grommet connects, and in comes Farrell, swings through the smoke, picks up another. K22G gets 1 for 1, and Grommet has one more victim. All down to Yogi, getting pincered. Lucy's on the flank. Grommet has the angle from Cat, and Yogi with the op will get dropped. The op might be recoverable here. Yes, it is. Now a double op now for free for RIT. They are going to love that, and we'll see if Lucy holds on to that, tosses that somewhere else, but even just knowing now, too, there's a double op possible for RIT. That's going to be a scary proposition for Northeastern to go up against.
Yeah, Northeastern, their economy's in a rather dour way, as you can tell. It's just 5 pistols, some Kevlar, some helmets, no utility to work with. They're going to try and rely on their aim and their skill as best they can, but again, the double op, it's going to be very effective at range against these Deagles, and while the numbers for NEU Gold might net a kill or 2, I can't imagine it spiraling out of control.
Yeah, and look how passive Grommet's playing this, just playing for the jiggle peaks. Takes the shot, falls away, doesn't want to risk anything, tosses in the Molotov, holding the line. Bomb recovered here by Yogi. NEU Gold taking their sweet time. Thing is, too, it's not like they have Tech 9, so they can just run and gun in towards the B site. They kind of have to take more defined duels. They have to take more standard engagements. And without any utility left, they're going to be dry peeking into ops here. They're going to be dry peeking into M4s and AKs, waiting to take them off. There's only 2 players with helmets, so 3 are vulnerable to the headshot. Time's ticking down, and NEU Gold look kind of lost in this round.
It looks like they have decided, though, it's going to be a B play, and they'll peek in. Zav at range. Did he get dinked? I'm not sure what he got dinked by. It was a Deagle, surely. Only took about 12 or 13 damage for it, though. Chevy, he does find Grommet. That's 1 kill going his team's way, but in the meanwhile, Ace of Lucas has been dispatched. It's 3 versus 2. Yogi. Or 3 versus 1, excuse me. Just Yogi now remaining. He's towards middle, hoping to find something with a Deagle, maybe on an off angle, but it doesn't seem likely. No, it's not. Farrell swings in, finds him on the timing, and RIT Orange continue their dominance 6-1, 5 rounds ahead of their adversaries.
I think that was a neck shot, because the neck shot can make the same sound, except it does barely any damage in comparison to the headshot. I think it was a neck shot through the box.
It must have been, because there was next to no damage taken, but it was still the sound. Very interesting, very odd.
Very peculiar. Bit expensive of a round, though, for RIT, losing 2 players. They are able to save the op, but it's still kind of costly for them. And something they're going to have to keep in mind here. Yeah, the economy was strong at one point. It's not very strong now. Yeah, you have a couple players in the save zone, but Lucy and Grommet in particular down in the worry area. But K22G has no worries whatsoever. Sprays down a pair out of long doors. Might even go for a third, and he will catch it. Chevy, I don't think was expecting that angle, that peak. There was a flashbang that flew to as well, but it didn't seem to blind the op or went a little too far. Doesn't matter, though. 3 kills for K22G, locking down the long doors. And I think he's just going to throw the op on top of Blue Box here and get rid of it, because I don't think we're going to be seeing a triple op set up here, do you?
I mean, you could hold on to it for the time being, hold the long angle in between the doors, and then throw it out for the AK when the round expires, but your guess is as good as mine. I don't know what's going through their minds. RIT Orange are very clearly feeling it, so maybe the triple op is the way. Only time will tell. Yogi trying to dance delicately on the catwalk, hoping to find somebody overextending, but no one is. No one's showing face. It's going to be a very difficult go at it for Ace of Losers and Yogi. Ace of Losers caught by the flank in tunnel. Zav totally unexpected holding there. Also holding the catwalk now. Yogi is thoroughly stuck in, and at long last the jaws will close. Farrell pressing forward on the catwalk finds the kill. And RIT Orange again, the dominance is uncontested. 7-1 now.
Yeah, they will get rid of that extra op, staying with 2. They want the rifles. 3 AKs, 2 AWPs on CT side, does too. And while this map might have a little bit of a T leaning, it certainly doesn't seem to be right now. And in the case of this buy, such a strong presence for RIT right now. NEU Gold limited to some AKs and a MAC-10 on Chevy. The B scrim seems to be in order. Maybe even a mid-B split here as now 3 players make their way down lower tunnels. But RIT see nothing up towards catwalk. Lucy's made the call, there's noise, and Farrell's coming in. The smoke is a little too late. Lucy falls, but Qualk is traded, and Farrell's gone back to a spot he's played many times before. Zav has to make a move, though, has to stand tall. One, but flanked from the tunnels player. Smokes aren't walls, and people can cross, but in comes Gromit, and Farrell strikes from the boost spot. Yogi all alone in a 1v3, flashing across, gets by, and might even get the bomb down, but it's a small Pyrrhic victory here, as the flash from Gromit goes over top. Farrell puts Yogi in the ground, 8-1. And whatever NEU Gold try, it just gets returned with much more force by RIT, and Rochester Institute of Technology are really putting NEU through the ringer.
They are. Now, Dust 2, CT side, is a side that requires a lot more finesse and a lot more overall team cohesion. Everybody has to be on the same page, but when you do it right, as you can tell here, it looks almost smothering. RIT Orange, even when the press came in towards the middle, even when NEU Gold changed things up so drastically, they were still more than prepared for a fast rotation down CT, for the skill jump up over the smoke, the op as well chiming in. Nothing went the way of NEU Gold for free, and in the end, that's what does them in. 1v3 situation did net a bomb plant, at least to facilitate a buy here, but in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't mean much. And well, RIT Orange continuing to change things up, again showing us that they're right at home here on this map. Lucy in the lower tons, pressing forward, no fear whatsoever, securing an advantage and might even secure a second. Lucy stuck in, does blind one, but Ace of Losers did find it at long last to trade for his teammate. 4 versus 4.
Farrell goes ahead of the smoke again and picks up another. There's a huge gap, and Farrell exploits it to perfection. Qualk and Yogi get sprayed down. Zav has the next in line. That's Ace of Losers gone. And RIT continue their storm. The money for NEU Gold is not going to be enough for a full buy. It's going to be pistols again, some deagles, and armor, maybe a smattering of utility. But overall, the Huskies are getting run out of town. A scout for Yogi, a tech for Ace of Losers, deagles on 3, a flashbang is all they bring for utility. And right now, Rochester Institute of Technology just can do no wrong, and Northeastern can do no right.
Absolute dominance. Ops still present for Gromit and Zav. Double op has been present pretty much throughout the game once the ops were on the table. NEU Gold, the half buy. It's a desperate one. Deagles could connect. We've seen some nice 1Ds come through. There's one such. Qualk finds that. Farrell finds a trade. Riawi, though, immediately in response drops Farrell. This chaining of kills is what they really need to find success. The AK stuck in long. K22G won't stop, though. He evens things back up, finding that nice flick onto the player on the flank, and that leaves 2 on the side of A and 1 trying to hold down middle. Zav upgrades to an AK. He's looking for blood. He spots the head of 1, doesn't quite find the shot. The op misses as well. The op's now dropped for rifles as the remaining RIT Orange players run forward to retake the site. K2DG finds 1. Lucy the second. It's just Chevius. He was on the catwalk now. Deagle in hand in the world against him. K22G shuts him down. It is another convincing round victory for RIT Orange, but NEU Gold did do well to at least get site control and get the bomb plant.
We were talking about this matchup earlier today in the green room, and we thought that RIT would definitely have the advantage. We thought they would be the overdogs here. We thought they'd have more individual skill and more team cohesion, but this is another level we're seeing here from RIT. Again, this is the pick of NEU Gold, too. They went for Dust 2 because they're thinking, hey, we don't have Mirage here, but Dust 2 is a map we can catch Rochester off guard with. Maybe it's something we can kind of level the playing field with. And here's a quick round, actually. Qualk might burn down to 10, but still keeps a man advantage for Northeastern. Zav, though, going to try and answer back with the op. Does not connect. But now the presence of the op or up middle is known and can get overwhelmed. There's a couple players hanging around the doors. And Zav has 1 headshot onto Riaoi. Still sticking around, pushed through the doors, though out long. K22G falls to Ace of Losers. Now it's a 3v2. Only 2 ops here for RIT. And Gromit and company have a lot of different angles to keep an eye on, but he's got the bomb! And that is a gift! And maybe even more. The Molotov keeping Yogi at bay on Cat. The bomb at the feet of the opper Gromit. And Zav still sticking around in middle. This long position from Gromit can really isolate these duels. He can really have to only a couple of angles to focus on. And Zav forgoes the op. Going for the rifle, the AK. Goes back to the op, juggles it back and forth. Realizes he can't go back for the AK. Has an M4 at his feet, and he'll go for that instead. Wants to support his teammate, knowing both are coming up long. They have flashes, but they get peeked on. That's the player with utility, and Gromit has now 3. Single-handedly locking down the round. There's 3 1s on the board but 2 are on the side of RIT. And Northeastern still sitting at that 1 round they won back on round number 5. It seems like so long ago now that they were able to have any real success.
A faint dream, you might even call it. Questioning if that 1 round's even real. 11-1, Zav. So jovial, he juggled guns and forgot to pick one up at the end of the round. Had to reinvest into the op. Gromit, though, the hero of the round prior, chimes in with the opener. Ace of Losers does spring forward to find the trade, but RIT Orange still look ready to stop this long press.
Oh.
Gromit, a nice collateral. He's a hero yet again in this one. 3 kills already secured and 2 more lined up ready for the harvest. Feral finds the final 2. The only player falling was right at the start towards long. And again, RIT Orange, complete control that last round where things looked a little bit dire in the early going. So that was because they pressed forward in middle. It was because of their own change of pace, not because of their adversaries. They are controlling the pace of the game. They're controlling the outcome. And the T's should be the ones traditionally doing that. Nothing is being given to NEU Gold. No control, no semblance of comfort. And there's an exact case of that. Zav peeking in middle, no fear whatsoever, drops Yogi. The theme of this one has been the lack of anything going the way of NEU Gold.
Yeah, Northeastern University are getting walled out here everywhere they go. Aggression from Zav, though, punished and no trade. Rio Woy could even get the second. Feral, though, sprays down Chevy. It keeps it to a 2-man advantage. Ace of Losers and Rio Woy. Last 2 alive for NEU Gold. And it continues to be a downward spiral here for the Huskies. They're locked in tunnels. And they're locked out of winning rounds. Good crossfires, good team play, good flashes, timely aggression. The confidence is overflowing from Rochester Institute of Technology. And now Feral's turn to sit back boxes. The smoke goes out. Just bait them into Lucy. That is the goal now. So much damage. And it's just easy pickings there for Lucy to finish that one up in the end. Picks up the secondary op as well. Last round of the half. And this one has gone by at blistering speed. What does Northeastern have to buy up in this last round with their broken economy? A Galil, make that 2. 2 AKs, and a MAC-10. Ace of Losers only has a smoke in terms of utility.
Desperate is the term I would use. And in fact, we might even be beyond desperation at this point. 13-1. A truly disgusting scoreline by any metric on any map, but it's the CT side of Dust 2 that makes it all the more surprising. NEU Gold, aggression on Catwalk is the call. Gromit in towards ED with the op. Doesn't quite hit the shot. Chevius sowing some chaos. Does find one of the MAC-10, but with the Glock out, he's going to struggle here. Zav spamming away, finds the trade. Site has been taken, but Feral's already on the flank. He'll find 1, he'll spot 2 more, and K22G burns Rioe. It's just Ace of Losers. 1v2, both approaching from Catwalk. The op jumping forward, no fear. Zav wall bangs Ace of Losers on 5 HP now, and he's just desperately trying to use the utility. He'll find 1, but Lucy's there for the trade. RIT Orange cap off the half with a 14-1 scoreline.
And that last round was the closest Northeastern have come to a win in quite some time. And it's still taken away. You see Zav just jumping around with the op, hitting a stylish shot through the boxes, and then a good trade there from Lucy in the end to finish it off. And look how condensed the kills are for RIT. 2 at 12, 1 at 13, then Gromit and Feral towards the top, 17 and 19 respectively. But Gromit's kind of living up to his name, though, being that kind of connecting piece that keeps the whole team together, giving them a lot of critical kills to build these rounds out of. There's been a lot of good hero 2Ks, 3Ks from the RIT Orange side, but a lot of the early damage was done based off of the hands of Gromit. Now they're going to run into a push-up middle from NEU Gold. Lucy, Gromit getting a couple of kills. Lucy's coming in from suicide, picks up another pair, and K22G will add another. It's 15-1. And RIT continue to counter everything. Would you expect a pistol push like that on the CT side? No, you wouldn't. But RIT still countered it anyways.
I think they were really hoping that the wow factor would give them something redeeming in this game, something to get them a few more rounds on the scoreboard to make it look less dire than it is. But that's not the case. 115, Chevy going for the pre-fire. Okay, nice shot on the Zav. Good shot with the scout. But the Bison coming out of B-Tons takes down the lone defender. That's the full B side opened up. NEU Gold, there's no reason to save here. They have to go for the retake. The question is, can they pull it off and can they put a second round on the board? And a pair of kills. Farrell, though, does get a trade. 2 versus 3 Mat 10s are actually on the back foot now. Fake bomb plant comes through. Swings as well. No respect coming in from NEU Gold. Grommet finds 2. The third on the table. Not quite taken, though. NEU Gold will stay alive by the skin of their teeth. 1v1 clutch for Mace of Losers. Only 13 rounds now separate them from overtime.
Only 13, you say?
Only. The first
So
is
they
always
just
the
have to win
hardest.
one round 13 times.
Yes, I would say never say never, but, you know, I would say in this case it is pretty safe to assume.
Yeah, it's never good to assume, but it would be highly improbable for NEU Gold to be able to make this comeback happen, at least on Dust 2. Last round, they threw caution to the wind and were able to surprise RIT with that little retake action there in the end, and I think they got a little lucky too that there was a Bison instead of a Mat 10 in the hands of Lucy. Koi Special coming through against Armor, not exactly the best of options. But it's Pistols, Scout, dual Berettas for Zav. Actually, it's the Deagle from K22G that drops the opener. That's an M4 down on Catwalk. K22G getting another, spraying away, hoping for a third, but it's a backstab of Farrell to do even more. Lucy picks up the mess, and it's down to Qualk on 7 HP, and now just Riawoy, full HP, but a 1v4 against the force of RID Orange to try and salvage their map out of it. The Molly plus Zav will burn them alive. And that will be all she wrote on map number 1. The pick again of Northeastern University is an absolute stomp in the favor of Rochester.
Stomp, a wash, whatever you want to call it. It was a very quick one. 16-2 was the score. 1 victory coming in half number 1. 1 surprise victory coming in the clutch in half number 2. Either way, RAT Orange are here to play, and they are just, honestly, the best way to sum it up, outclassing their opponents currently.
Yeah, outclassing in every factor right there. That last round was more and more just evidence of that all. The Deagles in hand, something we didn't really have to see from RIT throughout the majority of that map, I think at all, really was them in a disadvantageous situation. And what did they do with it? They dominated. And it just really goes to see there's some levels. This might be the quarterfinals, but RIT Orange, they want a spot in the grand finals. They have to get through NEU. One more team after that waiting in the wings, but they are making a great case that they belong in the finals right now with some utterly dominating performances across the team.
Yeah, I'm still kind of in shock on that matchup. Again, you can expect maybe a dominant performance if you're outclassing in the group stages and the early qualifiers, but we're in the quarterfinals. We're well into this bracket. This should not be a matchup that ends in that kind of way. This should be a much more contentious game in the grand scheme of things. And honestly, if I'm the team on the other side of the bracket here going into the semifinals, or one of the 2 teams that are currently playing, I'm a bit worried looking at RIT Orange.
I am very, very worried looking at RIT Orange. But folks, we're going to give these teams a bit of a chance to regroup. Well, we'll see what Northeastern can do on Overpass. We'll see if RIT can turn up the gas again. But we'll be back after the break. Welcome back, folks. NEU Gold got sent to the cleaners by Rochester Institute of Technology Orange. It's, well, 16-2 kind of tells you all you need to know about what happened on Dust 2. But that was the map pick of Northeastern University. I'm Boggs, joined by Pineapple Phillips. Nate, any final wrap-up thoughts on a map that ended almost as soon as it began?
I'm going to take what I'm assuming NEU Gold are taking as their own approach and putting it out of memory. I think that's the only way forward here for them. Put that whole map to rest. Don't even think about it. Forget it even existed and go on like this is the first map because that's the only way they're going to recover from that absolutely dominant performance from RIT Orange. NEU Gold on the back foot. They lost their map pick in that convincing 2-16 fashion, and now they have to show us something here on Overpass, the home map for RIT Orange.
Yeah, RIT Orange like this map a lot. NEU Gold don't really play it all too much either. So things are going to be a little lopsided, at least in the initial eye test between these two squads. And given what we saw on Dust 2, it's going to be a pretty tough task for NEU to hold up. But Qual, he's good. We know he is. Starts it off with one, flashed off well though, and they're closing the gap, but they can't close out. Qualt goes for more, only good for two, and now Farrell and K22G can open up the ace side. Farrell's gone for a pair, and the bomb can go down, back dice. K22G will punch in those digits, get that C4 on the ground, and set up for the post plant here. No kit now in the hands of NEU Gold, and Farrell's got a blind side. Yogi moving in, and Gromit has the bank player. 1-0, RIT salvage the round again. And that's something they've been incredibly good at doing too, is the fact that when situations get a little dire, somebody steps up and gets them back into it.
And they still look comfortable. They're not looking panicked, even in those, less than ideal situations. And very well done for them to get site control there, even with those initial losses coming in from Bank. NEU Gold, they will not go quietly though. They'll go for the investment now. 2 MP9s, 2 Deagles, and a Scout for Chevy. RIT Orange, they have an AK, a Galil, and 3 MAC-10s. They want to harvest some cash. The MAC-10 of Zav and Connector takes a lot of damage, but deals some in turn, finding the opening on the Qualk.
That's what you want your MAC-10s to do. Go in first, do damage or get kills, preferably get kills, but their main job is to gain space and do damage, and Zav does just that. Ace site could get an extra rotation too. Riaoi seems to be moving up here. There's already 2 on the side, but the MAC-10 getting another. The AK falls, but Zav's got 3. Doesn't matter. He's at 22 HP. He'll go to the Scout now. There's still the AK down on site, and I believe Gromit should be picking that up. He'll go for the Galil, and Riaoi will finish off Zav, who was lucky to live as long as he did. 2v3 retake. Low HP on Riaoi, though, might even contemplate saving these guns and taking it into the next round. Shoulder shows on jump up. Molly forces Riaoi into the open. Ace of Losers getting knifed, mows down Farrell, and does a lot on the Gromit. Hold up, we're not done just yet. But time might dictate that we are sooner rather than later. Gromit just dancing around, buying more, finishes the job. And Rochester Institute of Technology continue to pile on the rounds. Now 18-2 of NEU.
Expected. They should have had the advantage there. A lot of cash farmed up by, I believe it was Farrell as well. 3 kills on the MAC-10. That's $1,800 cash in addition to the prize winnings for the round victory. So he has no problem investing into an AK. NEU Gold, they have to back off now, go for the save, but their save still has some teeth. 3 Deagles and a 5.7. No Kevlar, no utility, but still, the Deagles could ring true, could find the heads of their adversaries and do some damage, but RIT Orange are still looking to make this map 2 as dominant, if not more so, than map 1.
Yeah, it's kind of the name of the game now for RIT Orange is do the overpass any percentage speed run. Get done with this as much as possible. They already played a BO3 today. They've already played a whole BO3 today. And they're going in there. Yes, they played a BO3 earlier today.
So they're just feeling it. They're feeling it.
But Chevy gets a nice 1 dig still. Small consolation, silver linings perhaps. K22G goes out early and alone. AK is able to be salvaged. Farrell can't trade it back. They know there's 2 on B now, I believe. They know somebody's out towards A, and the Molotov will finish off Yogi, who roasts in the flames. Maybe would have been more useful to have Smokey in that situation. Prevented the forest fire. But it's all down to Ace of Losers and Riaoi. Probably just try and save the AK at this point, Nate, because other than that, there's nothing NEU Gold can really do against this RIT squad with full AKs, 3 alive, and the post plant that's going to happen in about 10 seconds.
Saving the AK definitely sounds like the best course of action, but we're still in the early goings of this the second map, excuse me. We're still plenty of time to recover, and I think bringing an AK into the next round, into the actual rifle round proper, would be a good idea for Ace of Losers. RIOI, though, still has some damage that he could deal. Still has potentially a rifle to pick up. That rifle towards the long was thrown out, if I'm not mistaken, but yes, he shouldn't have too much of a problem finding a headshot here and a rifle by extension.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what happens out of this. Oh, he's got a Galil, but he's been hurt. I don't know if Zap should really force this issue, though. Goes out, though, and there goes the Galil. Confidence outweighs prudence, and definitely works out there well. Will be the saved AK, though, for Ace of Losers. Nobody in the vicinity whatsoever. But RIT going to be happy with their third on the board. And NEU. What can they really do here now? What is the answer here? The op for Yogi. Utility very light. No, they'll be able to get more utility. Only Yogi will go without. Qualk a little light in terms of utility, but can't be helped. Do have a kit. I do have an op. But what's RIT's plan now? They have to expect the full buy from NEU Gold. And Overpass is definitely a CT-sided map. They're going to continue to put on the pressure. They're going to continue to fight. And Zav out in Con. Blindsided by Qualk. It's another opening duel won by NEU Gold, by Qualk in particular. And this could give them a leg to stand on.
A solid start, the best you could ask for, and that's even better. Qualk finds a second swinging out in towards water. That's a 2-man advantage secured by him alone. 5 versus 3. Bomb quickly recovered by RET Orange as they change gears. It looks like they do want to go towards A now. It's really their only option. Their lone player holding towards B, dispatched so early on. But NEU Gold are ready to hold down this bathrooms area. They have a player outside on the dumpster. That's Chevius. And again, NEU Gold, a firm advantage, 5 versus 3. 3 remaining rifles of RET Orange slowly working forward. They don't clear the angle, though. Chevy doesn't clear it either. He will find one, but he should be blindsided. Yes, he is. Lucy finds the trade. K2PG is second on the site, and the third spotted as well. Somehow they pull it back. RET Orange tie things up in a 2 versus 2 fashion. It is now the retake for the AK and the op of Yogi and Ace of Losers. The kit is present. There is a smoke as well, but again, these players have gotten away and do some good post-play.
They've definitely gotten to a strong post-plan position, and Yogi does have the op. Ace of Losers has the one kit, though, and that is the saving grace of smoke as well with a Molotov. Lucy flash did. The op is gone. It's traded 1 for 1. K22G versus Ace of Losers now in a critical 1v1, at least for NEU Gold. RIT can afford to give up the round, and it will be given up here. I think there's more than enough time. Plenty of time for Northeastern. Ace of Losers with a critical 1v1. And Northeastern finally get on the board here. Cannot salvage the op. No, they will. Just in the nick of time. And RIT surrender a round. They've looked a little shaky here in a couple of these rounds, and this time they were able to salvage out a nearly winnable situation. And it definitely does destroy the economy of Northeastern. That's the one thing to be grateful about. M4A4 is 2-on-2 players. That's incredibly rare. But for RIT, they're going to be able to buy up again. AKs, MAC-10, and I don't think their confidence is shaken whatsoever. Nate, it's just... RIT, we saw what they did in the last round. That's a nigh unwinnable situation, and Grama just walks out one tapping. Riaoi gets taken down, or takes down K22G rather, out towards B, and a Molotov takes out Zav. I think RIT might be getting overconfident now. They're getting very overzealous on these peaks.
They are. Now, one of those players that have a MAC-10 had to go rather assertive, had to close the distance, but it's neither here nor there. Either way, NEU Gold still sit with the advantage, but we've seen how RIT claw their way back into situations such as these. Yogi, he's on the A site. This time he's posted towards long from the map, and he'll now look towards Sands. Perfectly timed. He should find Feral. Yes, he does with ease. The 2 remaining players will continue to lurk forward, but there is a second defender here ready to hold. That's Chevius towards the jump up. He'll swing off the contact, finding that Gromit's now in the clutch. 1 versus 4. He's found the first, the op towards map. He spots the second and sprays him away. Good shot from him. Still 2 more, though, and Gromit's on only 25 HP. Both players rotating up. It's Ace of Losers and RIOI. 1 coming out dumpster and 1 coming up bank. 2 very different angles that, if played properly, should have no problem securing the round. Ace of Losers post on the angle, finds Gromit's shoulder. NEU Gold secure second now, and they are looking more confident, more at home now that RIT Orange is playing in a more risque style.
Realized that The bomb didn't go down there for the entirety of that fight. Gromit could have gone to an open B site.
An opportunity, yeah. But he doesn't have that X-ray vision that we are so blessed with.
Yeah, but you gotta assume they're not gonna stack the site, right? With the bomb not down. I feel going back towards B, or at least probing towards the B side, would have been a better call. With plenty of time on the clock, but now it's going to be pistols for RIT. We'll see if they want to temper that aggression a little bit. They've given NEU a bit of a window back into this one. Granted, it is CT side overpass, and they've completely bypassed Qualk, who's been great on getting the opening kills, but there's so many rotations back. It's a spray down here for Ace of Losers, only able to get one. A Glock will drop him, but Chevy, Qualk come through. Gromit and Lucy, though, doing what damage they can. A disgusting headshot from Lucy's Deagle, and now perhaps another round that could go very, very wrong for Northeastern University. Rochester Institute of Technology get the bomb down. It's going to be post plants again. Gromit, no armor, 17 HP, picks up the M4. Yogi's op, spots out Lucy, though, and this should be a round one to tie things up here for a Northeastern. Gromit would have to do the impossible. Taps away, gets one, but Riaoi decides it's not just going to be Ace getting all the 1v1s, all the clutches. Riaoi wants in on that action in Northeastern. Tied up at 3 apiece.
Everybody pulling their weight there for NEU Gold. Everybody finding one kill exactly. It's a team ace from them, and everybody waking up is a good sign for this team. Again, one player surviving in the end is not good for the economy. It leaves them in a rather dire situation economically, but at least they're winning rounds. They already have more than they did on the entirety of map 1. If they can keep this momentum, if they can build their confidence and build anew, maybe, just maybe, they can bring this map to their favor.
They need to get back into the series, which they do. A good, strong CT side would do a lot to help them out in that regard. Of course, they'd still have to stand tall on T side as well. But Qualk and company getting another opening duel as RIT Orange continue to go in on Dry Peaks. It worked on Dust 2, but it's not really working here on Overpass. And in fact, they didn't really have all too many T-side rounds on Dust 2. To come to think of it, they only had 2 of them. Or was it 3? Either way, it's like 2 different contrasting teams right now from RIT. Good, solid utility that we saw from them on their CT side of Dust 2. We haven't seen that here on T side, and that's kind of where you expect that utility to really create the space, the flashbangs, the Molotovs, the smokes, to give you advantageous angles. Sometimes, yes, you can win the duels with just aim, but when you're consistently giving your opponents picks without trade potential, you're giving them confidence, you're giving them that momentum to say, hey, we're getting the fights now. We can take them out in the 1v1s. It's a dangerous spot to be in now for RIT.
It is a rather precarious position. If they don't change their mentality or their approach, it could easily net any gold some sort of advantage. Qualk another on the A site. 3 versus 5. 2 versus 5. He's come alive. Gromit finds the trade at long last. We do see the big green on the T side. Farrell as well drops the second, but there's already rotations coming through. He'll try to get as much space as possible towards Optimus. It will catch one. Will he hit the second? It doesn't seem like it, but Ace of Losers is forced back. Railway does swing in and find one, but Farrell has the trade. He's looking for his 4th. Now it would be a huge one, but no, it's not meant to be. Ace of Losers swings again. It's a 1v1 clutch, an expensive round for both teams, but again, it goes the way of NEU Gold. They actually gain an advantage, 4-3. This is the first advantage they've had in this entire series thus far.
Yeah, it is, and it's 4 rounds straight to boot. And for NEU Gold, they're relying a lot on clutches. Ace of Losers has 2, Riowa has 1. But Qualk is doing a magnificent job of giving them the opening picks. RIT are giving them 1v1 duels without flashing in, just walking into people holding angles. Now they're going to push through, walking into Chevy. Yes, is going to get a couple of kills with the MP9. Riowa swaps to the side. Our Ace of Losers sprays down 1, but Farrell knocks 2. 1v2, Farrell in another clutch situation with a rifle in his hands, bomb on his back, and time on his side. NEU Gold could even go for the gamble stack here. They are gamble stacking towards the B site. The op is exposed, and Qualk has the finisher. No more kills coming forth from Farrell. And now 2 rounds the goal for RIT to cross to tie this up. They'll be able to have guns again, but I think a timeout's definitely in order right now because everything they try, yeah, they can battle it back from a 2v5, 3v5, but they're not able to get that final kill. And in the end, it's just futile gestures. They need to be able to get around to the board again. NAU are just getting confidence more and more and more. They're winning more and more duels, and their rounds are starting to become more and more stable and cleaner.
The issue, I would say, the glaring issue to me is Zav falling first in connector rather often. If they can swap that up, have a second player with them, or just some utility to keep things even, maybe even shift the opening duel slightly into his favor by virtue of that utility, things could turn out entirely differently. And in fact, they've done well, always sending NEU Gold to the clutches. Even if they lose the rounds, it leaves NEU Gold in a very vulnerable spot where they can easily be reset at any time. So just one change to tip the scales in their favor to get them that one round victory would be a big thing. However, Qualk, the connector player, presses forward, no fear. He's gained his confidence back. He finds the opening onto Farrell, rotating in from B, and he has the bomb to boot. He will fall away. He won't overextend, and he won't stay to be traded, but he has all the information he needs. Grommet, in the meanwhile, does find a trade, but takes lots of damage for it. Chevy towards long is dispatched. It's even on paper, 4 versus 4, but again, Grommet is tagged down, and we still have that player who is all the way back in towards T-spawn, who's now rotated back up around and in towards short.
And look at Ace of Losers' position to out towards long bathrooms. A lot of information. Riaoy to bolster the A defenses. Qualk returns to the A site. But it's going to be a B hit here, but Yogi still able to get one. Grommet trades it back as the 9 HP player. Not too shabby coming out from him. Bomb can go down in a 3v3 post plant, but Qualk is on the bridge. He's got the angle and the bomb. Lucy goes 1 by 1. Grommet's going for the op picks as his teammates fall around him. And now Grommet one, but only one. Backstabbed by Ace of Losers, and Northeastern University are going to double their opponent's scoreline now. 6 straight rounds, and not a whimper of an answer from Rochester Institute of Technology. Northeastern are back. They're alive. The same could not be said about RIT.
RIT, I still have to say it's that player connector that's really doing them, and it's Qualk as the hero of this team for NEU Gold. Finding openings, again, fearless, pressing it all the way through T-spawn. They're up the ladder. Absolutely magnificent from him. All right, T1's trying to change things up with the play towards B. That's a whiffed smoke, though, to start things off. Not the best of notes to do so. Grommet swinging in, finds one. Nice start. The up of Yogi overran. He will find one with the up and nothing more, and Lucy's there to cover the back end. It's Ace of Losers taken down, and that's a convincing site take. Now, RT Orange do away with the frivolities. They go straight for the site take, and that yields a convincing advantage, 4 versus 2.
Shotgun Deagle not going to get the kill. Lucy finishes it off. 1v2 now for Qualk. He's been a monster for NEU. The main reason why they're in this position. A huge part of their engine to make this comeback happen. Consistently getting openings, giving them advantages. And now it's his turn to try and close out the game. He's been a good setup man, but he's got to finish the job. Hops on the bomb. It's in the smoke. A spam. It's on it. K22G. Might have been moving around a little bit at the end, but it still worked out for him. And RIT, after a long slide, are able to get it back, but that was a round devoid of all frivolity, Nate. That was just pistol rush on B. About as classic as it gets for a round such as that. It works, but it's not a round you can really count on to build off of. It's something that's kind of a one-off with lesser weaponry.
Yes, but we mentioned it before, the frail state of the NEU Gold economy. They've been building these rounds off of clutches. They have not built that money, and as such, they have a desperate force ahead of them. 2 Deagles, a 5-7, a Scout, and 1 lone hero M4 on the hero himself. It's Qualk. Question is, can they build a victory from this buy? I don't think so. RT Orange have rifles across the board, including the op. Qualk is going to try to be the hero here, and again, he'll find the opening, but this time around, Zav is ready. He redeems himself and finds the trade. We're at 4 versus 4, and the rifle, the hero rifle of the CT side has been felled.
Still have the Scout. They have some Deagles, and Riaoy will salvage the AK. Zav still sticking around, though, with some Molotov, and that'll just force him back into a more defensible position under the con cubby. Riaoy, though, taking the low angle. Does some damage, but Grommet's got even more. Picks off Chevius. Leaving Yogi, the lone defender, over on A. 1D comes out from him, looking for another. Lucy might overextend. In the meantime, Zav gets caught out by a smoke spam. And it's a man advantage for NEU Gold. Disadvantageous situation for RIT again. They've had opportunities to close these out. They've had moments where they brought it to a 1v1. The clutches have kept NEU Gold in this map so far. And RIT have to battle back again. Lucy flashed in one. Gromit picks off another. The Opera of RIT can post up now as the bomb goes down. Railway spots the shadow, spots the first, delivers the killing blow, but Gromit around the little grill of the truck will catch Railway. And it's only one round separating these two teams now. It looks like it was a 6-round slide from RIT, but they've woken back up. They've had their hibernation, they've had their sleep, but nap time's over, playtime's over. It's time for the big boys to get back on top.
Yeah, but NEU Gold, they forced in that last round. I mentioned it before. They're now relegated to the save. 1 Deagle, 2 P250s. It's the definition of desperate, but they've done well. They've found their footing. The question is, can they find the damage in this round, or will RIT at Orange again reign supreme over this matchup? Qualk, a good trade-in connector. He's not slowing down whatsoever, even if he's on just the P250. He'll upgrade to the AK, and it'll leave his team at even footing, quote-unquote, 4 versus 4, but they only have 1 rifle up against the full suite of rifles for RIT Orange.
Gonna stomp down long. The pistols are gonna try and swarm. Use numbers to try and win. T-34's strategy here. Qualk goes 1 for 1. Lucy sprays down 2, but it's a 2v2. Gromit gets another, though. And Yogi on the AK, no armor in hand. He'll do what he can as the Molotov gets extinguished. Farrell could have gotten timing, but he's looking the right way. Yogi can't hit the headshot. Tied up 6 apiece now. Moving with the last 4 of the half. Buy up again here from NEU. We'll see if they get an op here. It does not look like it, though. Gonna have to win it with the M4s in hand. And the utility as well. But for Rochester Institute of Technology, they've relied heavily on Gromit, 17-8. Qualk just behind at 16-10. But other than that, the clutch situations have tended to go the way of NEU for the most part. But RIT have slowed it down a little bit. Gromit gets the opener, trades back and forth. Qualk goes 1 for 1. Farrell lurking out towards B. Catches Ace of Losers, going a little too aggressive in towards short. And a 4v2 situation for RIT is one they have not lost at all. Now a 4v1. Leaves Riawoy up a creek without a paddle.
Up on A while a B side takes coming through. Bomb plant. Certain at this point, their lone remaining CT player should be saving his rifle for the next round. RIT Orange will regain their lead. It's a shadow of what it once was, but still 7-6. Given their slide of 6 rounds, that is pretty good, all things considered. And a very dominant one here as well, might I add. 4 players alive. It's a very good spot for them to be in. I should expect an 8th to come shortly thereafter. NEU Gold, their money's going to be in a bad way. And from there, RIT Orange, they did slide. It's a far cry from what it could have been. However, it's still a more than serviceable half. Even 8-7.
Yeah, 8-7, not a bad half at all. They can manage that. Maybe something. The CT side of RIT is going to be hard to overcome for NEU. That's something I'm very worried about, Nate, is how strong Rochester were on the defense. How well they played on Dust 2 CT. The way they played off of each other, the way they set up impromptu crossfires, the way they countered pushes and filled gaps that were opened up. It's going to be scary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another level. We'll have to see if that can come through yet again, or if NEU Gold will look more fluent on their T side. Only time will tell. Either way, it's the pistols that I mentioned before. The player trying to save was dispatched there in the dying moments of that round prior. 2 Deagles and a 5-7 to try and do something. Supported by 2 USBs. Farrell finds the first. There we go. The 5-7. Okay, 2 before finally getting traded. That's still some damage. Any damage is good damage. Even footing 3 versus 3, but 2 of these 3 defenders have just USPs, and now the final 2 are using those poor weapons indeed. It's just Yogi trying to fight towards Monster and his teammate pressing up towards A long. Farrell finds the player B. Last one far removed from the situation. This is all but certainly an RIT Orange round.
Yeah, it would be almost impossible for Chevy us to be able to pull this off with the USP in hand. Again, never say never. You can never 100% assume that something will never happen. But the odds are very rare. I would say probably less than getting struck by lightning, but he starts it off well, gets the first. And Farrell could be one dinged here. Zav, though, closes the gap and makes the impossible truly that. 8-6 now, RIT looking for a 9-6 half, looking to string it back 6 rounds straight, return the favor that NEU Gold knocked them down towards the early portions of this map. Double ops, Chevy and Yogi, utility is there. But RIT will have their rifles, a Krieg for Lucy, and we'll see if that will be the one-tap machine that it can be. But other than that, Rochester Institute of Technology are looking for their 9th. They're looking to really start to put this one to bed and move into their strong side, into their defense, with everything to gain.
And aggression. A change of pace for RIT Orange as K22G runs the gauntlet up short and finds the opening. Real Y just can't catch a break, dropped in the very early goings. And RIT Orange, they historically in this map at least struggled to find the openings. That's a nice one to find that goes uncontested. They have a good advantage now, 5 versus 4. NEU Gold again on the back foot here.
They've been on the back foot for the majority of this series. There was that moment where they had 6 in a row, but other than that, they've been pretty much cast aside by Rochester. There's nothing they've been really able to do to counter. Molotov ready to fly. Is that his
jump
target
finds.
Molotov with the... Yeah, that was not supposed to go there, was it?
No, I'm fairly certain it was not. I think the jump finds might be messed up here. I think that's what the problem is, because we've seen a lot of misnades. Either way, K22G is second over towards B. Good utility to force that player out. They are at long last coordinating their presses. RIT Orange back to their old form, as they will now continue on to this B site. The op falling away is caught in transition. It can't hit the quickscope. Yogi's dispatched. Qualk, again, he's been a hero for his team. A solid rock to keep them in it. He finds 1, but he's tagged down to 46, and it's still a very unfavorable 2 versus 4. They'll have to try and go for it, but it doesn't seem likely.
They'll do what they can, and Qualk's been very good. Can he be supreme? 1v4, sprays down 1, but that is all. 9-6 half now, still favoring Rochester Institute of Technology. And they move to the favored side, their favorite side. They go to CT. Despite the best efforts of Qualk and Ace of Losers, Rio with a 1v1 as well. NEU Gold are coming up short. The Huskies are sliding when the going gets tougher. This pistol round will basically foretell the end of this map. If NEU can catch it, then maybe they have a chance, but without it, it's nigh impossible. It would be incredibly difficult to battle back against this confident, almost hyper-aggressive RIT side.
Yeah, but I'm expecting to be more than comfortable here on their CT side. You mentioned it, pistol round virtually a must-win here for NEU Gold. They have to get out the gates running to really be able to outpace their adversaries. RIT Orange already rotating up. Gromit finds the opening. Lucy's here towards Bank. That's a disgusting tap onto the second. Looking for more as well. Bomb will get planted, but there's a double flank coming through. Zav drops 1. The player planting the bomb does get away, but it's still a very unfavorable. Now 4 versus 1. And it's just Chevius on the Optimus Prime truck. He's dropped quickly by K22G, who had been struggling earlier on. He's beginning to find his footing here. And that's another worrisome prospect for NEU Gold. They lose the pistol, but they did get the bomb plant, so they can at least go for the Galil Force buy here.
They only got a couple of kills, though, so their buy is not going to be as strong in terms of utility. They can definitely get some Galils, though, and maybe an AK without head armor would come through from Chevy. No, Galil, armor utility. Galil and armor seems to be the common play. Ace of Losers will go for the MAC-10, get some utility as well to fight with that. But RIT have accomplished mission number 1. They got the pistol round. They win against this force. They've accomplished mission number 2. The rest becomes relatively easy in comparison. They're on SMGs with an AUG for Zav. It's a very lopsided buy. It's a very Zav-heavy buy. Pretty much everything rests in his shoulders. And Zav's already tagged down to 30 HP. Lucy's dropped by a blind Riaoi. And NEU set themselves up for a chance. They win this force buy. It's almost better than winning the pistol round outright. But Zav might have something to say about it. Spraying away, gets the first, knows where the next is, and he will have help from K22G. And what looked advantageous for Northeastern University has gone the other direction.
Gromit's close as well with the MP9. He's trying to play the distance game. It won't work out. Riaway drops him, evening it back up to a 3 versus 3, but Farrell is still lurking on the back of Thighs. He'll blindside one, potentially a second. Yes, that comes through, and the MAC-10 now left the clutch. It will find the trade at long last, and it will dink K22G, but it won't put the pieces together. RIT Orange take their second round, 2 rounds in a row in this half, and shut down the force attempt from NEU Gold. A Galil is recovered as well for, I believe it was Farrell, maybe somebody else. And, well, RIT Orange are looking to turn a new leaf. They want to make this second half as dominant as the first map.
If they can do that, this one's going to be over quickly, and RIT Orange will be well on their way into the semifinals. And again, if you guys missed us at the beginning, both RIT Orange and RIT White in the quarters. They're looking for an all RIT final. 7 of their 10 players graduating at the end of the year. They want that spectacular send-off as well as establishing full and total dominance here. Gromit with a nice flick onto the jumping ace of losers. Was even ready for that, but could not get by. Lucy up close and personal with the UMP, cycling through the SMGs that are not called MP9 or MAC-10. As she's gone for the Bison, gone for the UMP and the MP5. Farrell sprays down a pair, leaving it all down to Qualk. Deagle in hand, spots out the op, and spots out Farrell, domes him too. But the op of Gromit does him in 12-6. 4 now necessary for RIT to get that semifinal spot. And NEU Gold on one of their last buys. With every round they lose, it just gets harder and harder, man.
It does. It's 6-12, and we mentioned NEU Gold got all 6 of those rounds in a row. It feels like RIT were kind of in a jovial mood, kind of playing around, and now that it actually comes down to finding a victory, they're going no nonsense, going straight for the throat. Another miffed opportunity with the Nays, but the op of Gromit stays around a little too long. He's shot out. Second player, Lucy, trying to support, is caught out as well. That's both A-side defenders taken down, and NEU Gold, a prime opportunity to put a T-side round on the board.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. Farrell going through the smoke gets caught out as well. It's all done to Zav as Qualk gets another. And NEU Gold, on one of what could have been their last few buys, are looking to put together a flawless victory. And what is the catalyst again, Nate? What starts the round success for Northeastern University? But over-aggression and perhaps a little complacency from RIT.
Probably a little bit of complacency, a little bit of both. Zav will try to do something, try to do some damage on the way out. He'll only find one, though. He's caught in the flames and swung on by 2 players. A good setup from NEU Gold, all things considered. Still, though, a sizable lead for RIT Orange, and the question is, will they go for an investment here or save? It seems like a save would be a potential option, but no, they'll go for the investment. It's a very interesting one, a very big gulf between the 2 types of buys we're seeing. 3 Deagles and 2 ops. So Gromit and Zav have their work cut out for themselves.
Gromit goes aggressive, gets the tag, cannot bag the frag. But Zav on the secondary AWP, 2 heavy investments have found damage and a kill. Qualk will go to the fallen op of his teammate flashing over the high wall, but not blinding his opponent. Zav's netted another. A brace and now looking for the hat trick. The bomb is down, and it has been spotted. Smoke to cover off the escape to guise the vision. In the meantime, Riaway, tagged by the scope up towards A, is creeping through con, clearing up a lot of space. But can NEU even escape from the hunters of RIT? That is the better question. Is there anywhere for them to go besides the B site? Look at Farrell's position, so aggressive, so advanced. And K22G up and ready. Collateral damage and more for Zav. Gets the 4K in the end. And Farrell sits with the Deagle kill to finish off Gromit's early tag. And RIT, well, it wasn't a round you might have expected them to win necessarily. But the op investment pays off in spades. It does almost all the work.
4 kills, including the tag on the 5th. It does pretty much all the work. All the heavy lifting comes the way of Zav and Gromit. When you play Overpass around your ops in a correct style, they're the ones that should really be shining, and that round is a perfect example of just that. Even with just Deagles to support, they do all the heavy lifting. Ops now again trying to hazard a chance at finding something aggressively. Yogi, a nice double entry, though, towards B. K22G does regain control, but the advantage is secured, and honestly, I'm surprised Gromit didn't go down earlier as well. He was all the way up party trying to pick over with the op. will miss his opportunity there, crossing back towards the site. NEU Gold still have a stellar advantage, and they're going to race down towards B. K22G is work cut out for him. Nice swing, finds a double. Qualk and Rio Y taken down. Molotov thrown. One player will race ahead of it. That's Ace of Losers. He'll find something. There we go. At long last, connecting the shots with Gromit's here with the op. He's posted up from range. He'll find one. Second is spotted as well. Gromit with the op. Post on the angle. Finds the second with a flick. RIT Orange bring things back. It went so back and forth in that round, but in the end, it's RIT Orange that emerged victorious.
That's kind of a knack they have too, is just being able to find winnable situations out of nothing or disadvantageous ones. They're able to flip the script around. They're able to find ways to win rounds, and a lot of that is due to their individuals, K22G and Gromit, the heroes of that round. And yeah, K22G been quiet for a large portion of this one, but when K22G has been called upon, especially in the later portions of this game, he has answered the call. He has seen the bat signal, put on the cape and cowl, and come to the rescue of RIT. Chevy rushing in, but it's Farrell and the aforementioned K22G to get the opening 2, make it 3. Farrell finally trade up with the nade, finishes off Riawoy, leaving it all down to Yogi, and Yogi will fall in the end. K22G back-to-back 3Ks in RIT Orange with a match point here, and 8 of them as well. In EU, they had that one round, Nate, that one round. And stop me if I've said this before, but, well, they had that one opportunity, but RIT wake up and just show up again. They get better.
Yep, I thought that was a very solid round as well from NEU Gold. They found their footing rather quickly on one of the first rifle rounds. And they had 4 players surviving as well, so it looked very solid from them. They played as a unit trying to defend the site, but that's the only glimmer of hope we've seen from them. Since then, it's been an absolute slaughtering for RIT Orange. Already a 5 versus 3. Yogi's tagged down. He will find a trade at long last via a B site defender. But RIT Orange still sitting pretty. 4 versus 3. And next to no utility for NEU Gold. Just a full set on Ace of Losers and a flash on Chevy Us. They will rotate around. They will slow things down in hopes to find something towards A. But again, RIT Orange, this defense is solid. They are ready for this play. They have a player spotting from the dice. That's Gromit, and his op has been hitting shots as of late.
Yeah, Gromit's been good, both on Dust 2 and especially as of late here on Overpass. The last 2 a couple of rounds ago. Lucy starting to get a little antsy, though, clearing up more towards map. And it's going to be Gromit and Lucy combining for the first. Lucy still sticking around. Mapped, hits the headshot on Ace of Losers. Flashbang comes from Farrell. It's all Lucy. It's all RIT. And Rochester Institute of Technology Orange move on to the semifinals 2-0 fashion. It wasn't as dominant on Overpass as they probably would have liked, especially 16-2ing on their opponent's map pick of Dust 2. But still, 16-7 is dominating, and only losing 9 rounds across 2 maps in the semifinal or the quarterfinals is no small feat at all.
No, I think this victory sends a statement, especially on map 1. 16-2, a little bit more slow, a little bit more loose on map 2, but they do indeed rein it in towards the later stages of things. 16-7, a very dominant performance there as well, and there's no doubt in my mind that RIT Orange should be in the finals just from that performance alone.
Yeah, I agree. RIT Orange look fantastic, and it's not just the individual skill. They have the utility when they need it and want to use it. It didn't get really forced out of them all too much, but when they did use their utility, it was quite well placed. The way they play off of each other is very fun to watch, and it's not just like 1 or 2 players are dynamic duos. Everyone can slot in with the other teammates, and that just makes this team such a dangerous team to go up against.
It does. Touching on the bracket, I just pulled it up. It's UCF Knights versus MSU Varsity on the other side of this matchup. So RIT Orange will face off against. They're just looking indomitable right now.
Yeah, and UCF don't have an easy battle either. Michigan State are very, very good. I'm pretty sure they won the last Michigan Derby that went along. So MSU, very solid team, and RIT Orange, they will have a hard fight in the semis, that's for sure. But I don't know if they are going to be toppled. This is a team on a mission. They want that all RIT final. And well, RIT Orange at the very least should be able to make it into that final spot. They are fantastic. But folks, that is going to do it for us today on the FACEIT Collegiate North American stream. On behalf of Pineapple Phillips and our producer, I've been Boggs. We hope you have a wonderful night, and we'll catch you next week. Same place, same time. We'll see you then.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through?